Trevenant is one of the topmost threats in the Ultra League right now in Pokemon Go PvP. Actually, not just the Ultra League, but the Ultra League Premier Cup and the Ultra League Premier Cup Classic. So Trevenant is obviously a big ticket item to build if you want to get ahead in the Ultra League. And of course, there's all those different IV spreads that you could possibly build on Trevenant. In fact, there's even an XL versus level 40 Trevenant debate out there. So to help you navigate all of this, I put together the Trevenant PvP IV deep dive. If you are curious about Great League Trevenant, I should be putting out that video tomorrow, and if you want to reference any of this information in a text-based format, including the Great League Trevenant, I do have an article on GamePress coming up either today or tomorrow as well, the Trevenant PvP IV deep dive. Links to both of those things in the description as they are created. So to kick it off, let's talk about XL Trevenant versus level 40 Trevenant. Well, when it comes to XL Trevenant, we're not talking about level 50 or level 51 Trevenant here. We're talking about level 43.5. So that's only 7 power-ups compared to 20 power-ups that other XL Pokemon are getting. So when it comes to XL Umbreon or XL Galar Stunfisk, there really isn't a debate. You really do want to go with the XL versions like 100% of the time, but when it comes to Trevenant, it's not that big of a gain to go for XL Trevenant, and for that reason, you can consider the level 40 Trevenant. To add to this, Trevenant is one of the topmost Pokemon in just about every kind of Ultra League that you can imagine, and as a result, the mirror is going to come up a lot. And the non-XL Trevenant has a relatively easier time getting charge move priority in the mirror, so that's also another factor. And then there's also the factor that we're having Classic Cups too now. Classic Cups can't use XL Pokemon, so the level 40 Trevenant can function in those Classic Cups along with the more open Ultra League formats. And when do these Classic Cups happen? I think today. I think we're getting the Premier Cup Ultra League Classic today. So level 40 Trevenant is pretty relevant right now. That isn't to say that there aren't reasons to build XL Trevenant though. XL Trevenant can hit defense breakpoints and HP stats that the level 40 Trevenant cannot, which can be relevant in some key matchups as well, as I'll highlight in this video. So if you are a true Ultra League enthusiast, you may want to consider building both a optimal level 40 Trevenant and a big XL Trevenant as well, so you've got the option to use either based on the expected meta and your team comps, etc. So when it comes to the breakpoints, first we're going to talk about the attack stat here. First and foremost, CMP, Charge Move Priority, is kind of the name of the game if you want to win the Trevenant Mirror matchup. Now, it can be a bit bait dependent too. If you land the Shadow Ball and your opponent doesn't land the Shadow Ball, that's another route to victory as well. But having CMP definitely is part of that equation and can help your consistency in the mirror matchup. Then the most relevant attack weight breakpoint I could find there was the Best Buddy Galar Stunfisk attack breakpoint at 167.98 attack. And if you do check out the matchup, you'll notice that it doesn't really change anything, which is kind of odd. I mean, it is helpful to have a Shadow Claw breakpoint against a meta-relevant Pokemon, but if we're not flipping anything new, then what's the point? Well, I took a little bit of a closer look at the matchup, and I found that if you went for an Ascended 168.6 or higher attack stat, you'd also get a Charge Move breakpoint on Galar Stunfisk, and with that Charge Move breakpoint, you could then clap it in the 1-2 shield situation. So you use 1 shield, they use 2 shields. Now that is kind of hyper specific, that's only one situation, Mr. Swag, but it also helps you close out the 2-2 shield situation without them reaching the final rock slide, and it can help out in a lot of uneven 1 shield situations as well. So normally I wouldn't be promoting such like a super high attack stat on a Pokemon just for like this one particular matchup in these relatively few kind of scenarios. But given that it's Trevenant, and Trevenant's kind of the best Pokemon right now, and you get CMP in the mirror on top of it, I think I can promote the wicked high attack stat just so you can clap Best Buddy Galar Stunfisk that much harder. There are also 2 to 3 other minor attack breakpoints as well. There is the 164.88 attack stat, which gets a breakpoint on both Nidoqueens, which is pretty nice. And then there's a 163.72 attack stat, which helps out against Escavalier, the rank 1 Escavalier. If you're going with the level 40 Trevenant, you're going to be hitting these breakpoints anyways, so I think this is more of something for XL Trevenants to chew on that might have a slightly higher attack weight, especially when you consider, Escavalier and Shadow Nidoqueen, they're probably not going to have the rank 1 defense, so just something to keep in mind if you're going with the XL Trevenant. Then moving on to the defense breakpoints. These defense breakpoints are only really reachable by the XL Trevenant, and they're kind of one of the bigger reasons why you want to consider using a XL Trevenant. First one is the 134.72 to 136 defense stat. The big ticket item here is that it helps the Empoleon 1-2 shield scenario, or Empoleon consistency in general. You think that Trevenant has a super easy time against Empoleon because it's a water type Pokemon, but Drill Peck does a lot for Empoleon to be good and is keeping Empoleon strong in the Trevenant meta, so resisting that waterfall damage could be very helpful, and clearly it is helpful in the 1-2 shield scenario. And then this defense range also encompasses most Charmers, Dragonite, and Gengar as well, and when it comes to these three types of Pokemon, it's kind of hard to really pinpoint what their attack weight is really going to be in practice, so chasing after those defense breakpoints might be a little bit unreasonable, but at the end of the day, if you're getting the Empoleon defense breakpoint, chances are you're getting those defense breakpoints as well. And then the final one to highlight is the Gallade breakpoint at 135.82 or higher defense. That does fall under the Empoleon range. I'm just highlighting this one because it does start at the upper end of the Empoleon range. So if it is a more attack weighted Gallade there, then you may want to have an even higher defense stat than 136, and this is to help out with the 1-2 shield scenario consistency and just taking less damage from Gallade to begin with. And then finally we have the HP stat, and there's only two HP stats that are really relevant, and one is definitely far more important than the other. The most important one is the 167 or higher HP stat, and that is for consistency in the mirror matchup against other Trevenants. So before we were talking about that big attack weight, you definitely want to keep this HP in mind while you're chasing after that attack. And it's for that reason why a lot of XL Trevenants really can't pursue an attack weight that heavily without, why don't you just be like a level 40, Trevenant? Because you could be dropping a lot of HP in that process if you want to maintain your XL status, which is kind of ridiculous at that point. At any rate, 167 HP or higher. If you check your stats on PvPoke or Go Stadium and you see that you're not getting 167, you're getting 166 or 165, don't build that Trevenant. Just save yourself the trouble. It is just the mirror matchup and any other matchup where the HP could matter. But I feel like the mirror is going to be frequent enough where you're going to want to have that HP. And then the other HP set is 170 for XL Skarmory. And that's something for XL Trevenant to think about. And it is a pretty ridiculous situation to begin with because it's the 2-2 shield scenario and you only have one opportunity to land the Shadow Ball to win. So the 170 HP probably helps out in a handful of other things too because it is more HP. But I just figured I'd highlight it for the XL Trevs to think about. Now comes the time you've all been waiting for. The canned IV spreads. When it comes to level 40 Trevenant in the Ultra League, these are my top 9 IV spreads for Trevenant here. All of them hitting the ascended attack weight for the Galar Stunfisk, so not just getting the fast move breakpoint, but also getting the charge move breakpoint, and then also helping out with CMP in the mirror. You'll notice that all of these are cut off at 167 or higher HP, and once again, that is to help out in the mirror as well. And then as far as the drop in defense is concerned, I didn't notice that hurting anything significantly at all, so with confidence, I can say that these are probably the best level 40 Trevenants that you can go for. I'm actually building one of them myself, so go me. It's the 13-10-15, so keep that in the back of your mind when you run into my Trevenant in the Ultra League. Oh, hi Giratina, you want a PvP IV deep dive too? I mean, I got all the information, but now while I do feel like it's pretty reasonable to hit the top 9 IV spreads for level 40 Trevenant, there could be a chance that you miss out. And I don't know if Phantump and Trevenant is going to be an event-only Pokemon like Cofagrigus and Yamask. So after the event, you may not get another opportunity to get a better IV Trevenant for the Ultra League. So if you do miss out on the top 9 and Phantump runs away after October, here are the 26 alternative IV spreads that are also very good for Trevenant here. All of them having an attack weight for the basic Galar Stunfisk breakpoint, not the Ascended breakpoint, and then all of them having 167 to 168 HP. And yeah, if you missed out on the top 9, you definitely should have one of these ones. And then last but not least, we have my recommended XL Trevenant IV spreads here. All of them basically being hard capped at the 170 HP because there are so many like good enough IV spreads. So I guess if you are going to go out of your way to build the big XL boy, why not build with the big HP? Hey, who knows? XL Skarmory counter swap could come up, and now you got the HP to take it on, right? Now, if you do want to thrift on your XL, like you do like the defense breakpoints on the XL, but the Skarmory HP sounds kind of dumb. If you cut off the HP by 167, I think there's like 64 or 68 other viable IV spreads for XL Trevenant. So if you're not interested in the 170 HP, but you are interested in XL Trevenant, just punch in the numbers on pvpoke.com or the Go Stadium IV rank checker and make sure you're hitting at least the 167 HP, and that Trevenant should be good to go. But in my personal opinion, if you are building the XL, you may as well go for the XL HP while you're at it. Like CMP in the mirror, everybody's going to be running around with the level 40 ones, let me tell you. So that CMP in the mirror probably ain't happening. But defense and HP, that could help you pull ahead. That's all I got to say about Ultra League Trevenant here. If you got any questions on this content, of course, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. And then, of course, Great League Trevenant is coming out soon, and then the article on Game Press covering this information and more being the Great League Trevenant, will be coming out soon. Link in the description to both those things as they are created. SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these patron supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. I didn't realize that I didn't change the size of my image. Are you image 3? Trevenant, are you? No, you're Golbat, aren't you? Yeah, you're. I need to change the names of. I was just so excited to talk about Trevenant, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. I really don't want to redo that section, so